Morning friends, Diana here from Garden Love. I want to show you guys something really quick. It might not seem like a lot, but to me it sure is a lot, because 1/4 of this whole entire hill, I feel that it's completely done. And by that, let me tell you why I feel that it's done. I'm going to walk up the walking stepping stones that I designated to walk is going to be these 2 rows right here. And I have worked very hard to get all this mulch, this wood chips up here to create these stepping stones. And I have also, we just missed a hummingbird. Have also worked really hard to design and lay out where my fruit trees are going to be. I've actually brought some little pillows and I've sat here to just enjoy the sun and to brainstorm what I want to grow here. So I'm going to move up here. As you can see, this whole section is completely filled with wood chips, with the exception of a few right there, because I'm going to, once spring hits, I'm going to chop those dead woods down. As you can see that my Mexican sage is already growing from the wood chips, from the stems below. So I'm going to cut that off, cut it into little pieces, put them inside these empty containers around it, and use it also as mulch, and then fill it up with the wood chips that I have here. But as you can see from this angle, this whole side up until right here, it's done. And I'm going to show you guys what I've done, what I planted, and the little layout. So I want to consider this maybe a quarter, or maybe I would say a quarter definitely of this whole hill is done. And I want to show you guys what the layout is here. There's going to be 2 rows in between every tree that I grow. So these 2 rows, eventually that little kale is going to go. That's going to be a stepping dirt locker. These 2 are going to be stepping. Where you see those stakes, that's where I'm going to be growing some more pineapple guava as the shape of a heart. I think I mentioned that in previous videos. And I'm going to have my kumquat. There's a kumquat there, there's another kumquat there, 3 dirt lockers in between. Each one is about 2 feet, and then right above it is a calamari, little orange. This is kind of like another kumquat. And then there's my Mexican limes, which I love. Right below that, you see those little white sticks. Those are actually my amazing Snow Queen nectarine. It might seem like it's kind of close from this angle. In actuality is not. And I'm going to go up there and talk to you guys and show you guys the distance, how far they are, why I decided to do them that close or that far, however you want to look at it. I know someone commented in some of my videos saying don't put them too close because they will mature, and that is absolutely something you have to consider when you decide to put trees close to each other. But I'm going to tell you why I decided to put them that close and why it will be okay. This is my jujube tree. I feel like the roots are getting established. I usually like to shake the trunk after I planted it just to see how well established they're getting. And at first it was kind of wiggly, and as days have gone by, you can see that it's a lot more sturdier, and that's usually how I like to gauge how my trees are doing after I plant them. It's a good sign that the roots are taking. I have a line here of what do you call these? Rosemary. This one wasn't doing so well because I had a basil growing right next to it in the back. You guys saw how ginormous my basils got last spring and summer. It was incredible. The soil that I put in here from Foothill soil, it's amazing. It's 50-50 organic soil. Everything that I put in the ground has been thriving and growing amazingly. So I definitely recommend their products. I'll try to put their information on the description and hopefully up here if I have the time. But definitely in the description I'll put their information. I've been able to fill most of this hillside in soil with Foothill soil. You can see how ginormous these dead bushes are. This used to be my sage. I mean, they grew tremendous. I didn't even know sage could get that big. And you can see this whole area, I still need to work. So this is definitely a quarter of what this whole hill that I've finished pretty much over the winter. I feel like I've been tackling this side because I had a vision of what I want it to be finally, and I didn't have that vision last year. So this year I have it, and here I am. This section is done. Now I gotta go buy some more of those fruit trees that I want, and in between I have to also grow a few other things. But as you can see, I'm still growing some onions and garlic, so I'm going to leave those. Eventually I'm going to put wood chips on those, and I'm probably going to put some flowers surrounding the fruit trees, or maybe grow some vegetables kind of like this, refresh the soil so that way it has some nutrients to regrow some new fruit. Maybe add some more of the foothill. I still have a little bit left over there from the soil that I got from them. This is my moringa. We'll see how it grows, how it starts growing again since last year, because we know that they do go dormant. I'm not sure if the whole thing's gonna survive, or I'm gonna have to chop it down. So that's a lesson I'm going to learn this year from my moringa. And I did learn that since it grows ginormously, this is probably something I don't want to grow up front. It's gonna shade some of this. It's probably something I want to put in the background as a backdrop, and something that's not gonna shade this whole area. So it's probably more on that side, because the sun usually hits this way. In the summer it hits down this way, so in the winter it's hitting this way. So you don't want to put it in the front where it's going to shade the rest of the plants. So you're going to put it in the background, probably somewhere along that line. I'm going to add some more moringas. But as you guys can see right here, my amazing kumquat, they're doing so good. I planted this one just like a week or two ago, that one like 2 weeks ago, and these are gonna get, I would say, maybe 4 feet wide, maybe 5 feet tall. They are dwarf, so they're not gonna grow too ginormous, which would be ideal for the lower part of these dirt lockers, because I don't want them overcasting shadow on the rest of the stuff. I will use some of these that are empty to grow like a zucchini plant, or maybe artichokes, some plants that is like a big plant that's going to make a nice statement, that's going to produce fruit or food, and it won't cast a ginormous shadow, and I could pull it out every season and maybe use a different dirt locker the next season, and then keep refreshing the soil. All of these wood chips will eventually break down and create new soil, and hopefully I would just start this. It's a lot easier to move wood chips up here than it is soil. I do have to say that. I was able to cover this whole entire area by myself. Maybe it took a total of 8 hours, so I broke it down in 2 days. And as you can see, it is covered in these wood chips that I got from a local arborist that basically started cutting trees. And so let's talk about what I mentioned. This is my Snow Queen nectarine. Let me show you guys different angles. As you guys can see here, there it is. You can see how far it is. It's like 1, 2, about 3 dirt lockers and separate. Remember, each one is about 2 feet. So that's about 6 feet apart, okay? Now, the Snow Queen is a dwarf Snow Queen. It's not going to get super tall, and it's not going to get super wide. It might get as wide as 6 feet wide, okay? But you got to keep in mind it's going to be 6 feet, 3 feet this way, 3 feet that way, not 6 feet from one side all the way up there, and it's not going to touch that tree. Now, the reason why I wasn't concerned, let's say it even goes up to here, up to here, right next to this amazing Mexican key lime. Well, if it makes it up to here, it's not a big issue. Let me tell you why. Because you have to understand and know the nature of your fruit trees. How do they grow? If you guys know, I learned this the hard way. I wanted to make this Mexican key lime as a lollipop growing tree. And what I mean by lollipop, if you look over there when my pineapple guava's growing, you see how it has a big trunk and it has like a lollipop head. I wanted this tree to grow like that. And little did I know when I first started about 10 years ago that this tree's nature is not to grow like that. As you can see, there is multiple branches coming from the trunk upwards, and you can see some of the wounds that I created trying to clear the trunk for it to grow. This tree would have been much more bigger if I would have allowed it to do its natural growing habits, and I learned the hard way. Now I know that the Mexican key limes grow from branches coming from the trunk upwards and up. So this tree, even if it gets wider and bigger, it's gonna get wider and bigger upwards, not wide, not to the sides. So that's a good lesson to know and learn. You gotta really do some research on how your tree grows. That way you can determine how you're going to grow your trees and how, where, and next to what, because you don't want two trees that grow the same way that are going to be competing for space, right? So in this case, this tree will grow up maybe as wide as this branch is at, you can see, which is not even touching this branch. This tree will grow a little bit wider, not as tall, and even if it gets taller, look at, I'm above it because I'm standing on top of a dirt locker here, and I can actually reach it because it's growing on a hillside, and I have stable stepping area to actually come and get some fruit from the above branches. So I'm very excited about that. As you can see, there's a big distance between. That's a Mexican sage. I can chop that down. If it's overgrowing and invading the space here, I can chop it down. Sage is not, it's not giving me fruit or anything that I am going to be so distraught by limiting its growth. It's, in fact, it's going to grow even more, and I want the hummingbirds to enjoy it. So it's going to be totally fine. I am not even worried about it. If anything, I can always pull it up and split it and put it somewhere else. So I'm very aware of how my trees are growing and how they are going to grow along each other and how they're going to have an effect on that. That's another Mexican sage. I have some tomato that was growing here. I'm slowly breaking down all of the extra material that I've had from my last growing season, breaking it down, putting it in the dirt lockers, adding mulch on top of it, and it's all going to break down and be part of this land that's going to eventually start growing more things. As you can see, the soil actually went down with the rain, so I'm going to have to haul some more soil up here and fill the dirt lockers where I'm going to be growing trees. So that's my main focus this growing season, is adding fruit trees to this hillside, and in between I will grow some vegetables, but I am not going to worry about it so much. I want to make this hillside as edible as possible, and by doing that I need to do the skeleton of this hillside, which is going to be the meat and bones of this. Which we need to do is add fruit trees, let those roots get really well established in the ground, make a frame of what is going to be growing there, and now then I can use the extra lockers, dirt lockers, to grow some food and vegetables. And like I mentioned, eventually I'm going to grow some raised beds. That's probably going to be a 2023 project. Right now I have enough to work with, and I'm excited to be bringing some more amazing trees here. I gotta clear all of this and start fresh. I need to get the fruit trees that I need to get to create that beautiful heart. And then I started already dreaming and figuring out what I'm going to do on this side of the dirt lockers. And let me go ahead and show you guys really quick. See, this side is the other side of the dirt lockers, and I need to basically do what I did on that side on this side. This is going to be slightly different because I'm growing a few things. I try to grow some of these on the other side, but unfortunately they didn't take. The gophers got to them. I hope the wind's not really doing blocking my voice, but it's going to be slightly different, but at the same time it's going to be the same. And let me explain why. So as you guys can see, there's a lot of ground covering shrubs that when dormant for the winter, I have to chop them down. They will regrow right now when spring starts hitting. And I do have lavenders going up the same way I do over there. And as you can see, do you see where I have those shovels sticking out? Well, that's where I'm going to put some more fruit trees. I plan on putting my Meyer lemon right there. I plan on moving my jujube little tiny tree that I had here over there. And then I have another lime tree that I plan on putting right there because it grows similar to that one, and it is a dwarf. So I need something that's green. It's going to look pretty. that's not going to overgrow the space, but it's going to have a nice backdrop of green. So when winter comes, I don't want everything to look that way. I only want the things in between all the green to look that way. In fact, I'll just clear it out, break it down into pieces to create more soil, and then next season I can add more things. As you guys can see, I have a plan. I need to grow some more stuff down here. I'm not sure what. I need to find another type of citrus that grows like a kumquat, quite small, that produces some fruit. I think the only other thing is kumquat. Maybe I'll get different varieties of kumquat. I'll have 2 over there, 2 over here, and just have kumquats. My kids love it. I love them. You could do so much with them. So I think we can never get enough of kumquats. And then in between the heart shape, because I'm going to be putting the the pineapple guava shrub going up. In between the heart, I'm probably going to be putting some more like lavender, some more rosemary. I know you guys see that blue stake. You guys can see it over there. I don't know if you guys can see. Let me walk over there. Well, the blue stake is actually going to have my kaffir lime. Do you guys remember my kaffir lime? Well, that's where my kaffir is going to be growing aspalair, making a nice backdrop to this whole beautiful landscape. And I'm also going to be adding some Laura Bay leaves, shrubs, to the heart, so that way there's a nice break in between the shrubs of the pineapple guava, and then we have some other good edible plants growing in between them. So it's kind of windy here. I was just very excited to finally finish a quarter of this amazing hillside that I wanted to come out here and show you guys. Whoa, it's windy. And let you guys what I've been show you and let you guys know what I've been doing. I wanted to touch on the distance of your fruit trees, what to grow together, what not. It's very important that you guys think about their growing habits, as I've done here. Well, guys, like always, I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to be sharing this amazing progress that I've done. I don't know if you guys can see here. This amazing progress that I've done in this hillside. Finally have a good plan of what I'm going to be doing. Finally started doing it, and there's a progress to show for. So I wanted to take a moment to do that. Super excited to have you guys here. Sorry that I haven't been posting as much as I'm used to, but I have my hands full right now. And sometimes when I have the time and energy to do something like this, I don't necessarily have the time or energy to grab the camera because I am task driven and I want to get it done. So I wanted to show you the results and show you guys where I'm at. Well, I hope that you guys are having an amazing Saturday. You guys are enjoying yourself and you guys are thinking about your garden and planning and working towards it. Like always, plan something, create something beautiful and useful. You guys have a blessed day.